All right, so purchasing a home can be a very tedious process of trial and error, but real estate agent Paula Bacchas is telling us that it doesn't have to be that way, and she has 10 secrets that can help us to make it a little easier. Really, Paula? To be hard.
No, it doesn't.
Once you're equipped with the knowledge, or perhaps once you have a good real estate agent,
yes,
then you're okay. You've been doing this for 3 years now.
3 years now.
Yeah, you were lecturing before. Why did you make the switch?
I've always had a love for real estate, and it was something that was burning in my soul. And I decided to make the leap in about 2013. I started the training process, and in 2014, I actually got on the ground.
Challenging though, eh?
Very challenging.
Because you have to represent both the seller and the buyer, different people with different interests.
Yes.
Sometimes the buyer wants something that they can't afford. The seller wants to pitch at a price that is unrealistic, and you're in the middle trying to make everybody happy.
Exactly.
So it's tough. All right. So here are 10 things that you think we ought to know to make the process a little easier, starting with the pre-qualification for the mortgage. Talk me through that.
Always begin the process by getting pre-qualified for your mortgage. Trust me, you'll save me and yourself a little time.
What does that take? So we call NHT?
I would start with NHT first. Call them. You give them your identification, your NIS, 2 last paid slips, and I think a job letter. And they will tell you what you're qualified for.
Okay.
This is called an eligibility letter. And this is what you bring to us to let us know how much you're qualified to get.
So you don't end up on a wild goose chase.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're not looking in the $20 million range when you can only afford 10.
Gotcha. Okay. 10% minimum deposit.
Yes. That is the government standard. 10% is the minimum. You can go higher if you so choose, but I always tell persons, have this money saved up and ready to go.
Yeah.
Don't find the house and then wonder where the 10% is going to come from. Have this money ready.
Yeah, and it's not just the minimum deposit, because you have costs that you have closing and this duty and this tax and yeah. So how much is it likely? How much of the total are you likely to have to put down for the closing part of the process?
It all varies, so I can't tell you X amount because it really depends.
Percentage? Is it like another 10% or maybe a little more?
I would say on top of that, original 10%, another 5%.
Yeah, research, very important.
Research, yes. Become a knowledgeable home buyer. Know what is out there on the market and what you can afford. It doesn't make any sense. You get up and you are looking for a $20 million home and you cannot afford it. Research, research, research. Know your areas, know what is for you, know what suits you.
Yeah. And then find a guide like yourself.
Yes, get a knowledgeable real estate agent.
A lot of people say, why do we need a real estate agent? Because that's a commission that I can't afford to pay. I mean, I'm giving you money when I could put that in my pocket.
Okay, well, buyers do not pay us anything. You do not pay us anything, so it doesn't cost you anything to work with us. We're there to guide you along the process. Sellers now, I say that you will sell your house for more money using a knowledgeable real estate agent who will market your property and get it as much exposure as possible.
Okay, I believe you. Always remember this statement: buy the worst house in the best neighborhood and fix it up. Is this the location? Location, location.
Buy, let me repeat, buy the worst house in the best neighborhood you can afford and fix it up. Number one, you'll start off by building equity in that home. So if you, let's say you buy the house for $10 million and it is in a community with $20 million homes, you can always fix up that home to bring it up to that amount.
Right.
And then you have all that equity in your house.
Right.
If you want to take a loan or if you want to sell it and make a profit, you can do so.
Correct, which takes us into location and the return that you can get on your investment almost immediately. Yeah.
And always make sure that the location is central, close to good amenities. And as the previous days have shown, try to figure out if it's a flood-prone area. You don't want to build your house in a flood-prone area because you will regret it.
Yeah.
You might not regret it today, but you will regret it in the future.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, what I mean by don't sweat the small stuff is that wallpaper, that can be removed. Carpet, that can be removed. Lighting fixtures, plumbing fixtures, they can all be changed and upgraded.
So look beyond.
Look beyond
what you see.
the cosmetics.
Think about your vision.
Look beyond the color. See a diamond in a rock.
Rough, yeah.
Yeah, do that.
If the house has good bones,
If it has good bones
location, go for
and
it.
it's in a good location, I say go for
Yeah.
it.
Never purchase a house on a busy road.
Never.
Why?
Never do that. Number one, you open yourself up to criminal activity. Houses along main roads tend to be more susceptible to criminal activity. You're exposed to noise pollution and air pollution. So
And the opportunity for resale is less?
is less.
But what if that's what you can afford?
If you can afford that community, I would say find a house off the main in that community.
Wow, that's interesting. Never over-improve on your property more than your community is
Yes.
able to support.
That goes back to a previous point we made. If you're in a community with $20 million homes, why would you build a house that is now worth $40 million or put $40 million into a house? You will never be able to sell a house in a $20 million community for $40 million. It will never work. No one is going to come into a community and buy a house that sticks out like a sore thumb. That goes back to another point I
Even if
love
it's
to
a
make.
good sort of?
At the end of the day, you have to make that decision. It's a personal decision. But I love to say, never buy the best house in the worst neighborhood. It doesn't necessarily have to be worst as mean no one wants to live there.
Yeah, I
but
understand.
make sure that you, whatever you invest in your property,
can get it back.
you can get it back from your property.
Yeah, gotcha. And then always think resale, which is a final
Always,
point.
always, always. You are making an investment in your future, the future of your family. You want to make sure that if you should pass on in the future and your children decide to sell, mommy paid $10 million for this house X years ago, you can get it for 20 today.
Those are some good points, Paula.
Yes,
You
I
did
wrote
really
them
well.
myself.
You know your stuff.
We help persons to buy and sell real estate island-wide. So
Yeah.
if you need a real estate agent, you can always call me.
Obviously something you're passionate about. That's why you're
Very
so good at it.
passionate.
Thank you very much for
Thank
being
you
here this
too,
morning.
Simone.
Real estate agent Paula Roper Bacchas with some great tips if you're buying or selling. So we have more on Smile. Where we're going to break? Yeah, we're going to break. We'll soon come back. We're right back.
And fun.